Yeah, just say action, man. We've been ready, man. Come on, man. Let's get it, man. First off, how everybody doing tonight? We got special guests in the building. I see Uncle Chuwu in the background.
Oh, I thought you talking about me. I say, bro, I'm always here.
Peace to the guy, man. Welcome to another episode of the Man to Man podcast where we talk as guys. I'm your host, Steve Jones. I'm here with my good brother, Mr. 19 Keys.
Man, pleasure to be here, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, how you feeling, man?
I feel great.
What's something you grateful for today since you feel great?
Man, I'm grateful to be able-bodied. I just dropped and gave like 100 push-ups. You know, I'm grateful to just breathe. I'm grateful to just take in a day. I'm grateful for my freedom. You know, I'm grateful for my strength, my breath. I'm grateful for my mother who I talked to today, my father who I seen the other day. You know, I'm grateful for the team. You know, I'm grateful for coming and being raised in a big family. Everybody ain't in the best position in life, but they all alive. You know, and I thank Allah that He hasn't took us through our worst times yet. You know, He allowed us to build our strength up before He take us through the worst. So I appreciate Him.
Facts. I didn't get to talk to her today.
That's fine. I talked to your mother today.
Yeah,
She's doing that, for real. For real.
But let's get to it, man. You know, it's been a lot going on around, not even just America, man. It's the world, bro. It's this entire generation, you know.
Let me put my glasses on.
And I feel like, I took my glasses off, man. Like, I caught myself not wearing my glasses for a while, you know what I'm saying?
Today we talking about dark masculinity, and so in that, I'm not trying to be
I kind of
nice.
like them, though. Where you get them, man? Them kind of hard. Even though they ain't Crownz Society.
Mean pair of dark shades. I just needed some the other day when I was going to the game.
Yeah, but check this out, right? So, let's get into these dark masculinity today.
So let's start off with this, right? Because most people are like, what is dark masculinity? It goes into the easy question, right? Number one, I'm gonna ask you, are you a nice guy?
I'll never be a nice guy, but what I will
have you
say,
ever been?
hold on, let me live.
No, have you ever been?
Yes, in certain situations.
All right.
In certain situations.
Okay.
Not in all.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just asking you, like,
yeah.
Steve, Abdul Rasulullah, that's a I give you a Muslim name. No, Steve Jones, you ain't, from what I know, when I first met you, you was a nice guy. But not all the way, but you was a nice guy, right? You're definitely tapped into your dark masculine, right? Now, but that's for a reason.
I mean, that's valid because you met me as a child.
Yeah. Now,
so that's valid.
And that's good. It's not a bad thing.
I know,
of course,
yeah.
It's a developmental process. Like, every man has to go into their dark side, right? You have to go into the dark side. Because even, like, as we're going to define dark masculinity in a second, but you have to think about it in the sense that there are so many men who fail at life. By failure, I mean, like, they're not achieving the things they want. They can't get with the woman they want to, right? They can't. They don't have the respect that they want as they move throughout the room. They can't make the connections, right? They can't 10x and scale things that they want to in their life. And I'm talking about specifically in this range, I'm talking about men who are nice, who are really good guys. I mean, extremely good guys, right? But they just can't seem to get past a certain threshold. And that's because they haven't learned to tap into the dark side, right? And then there's the opposite of men who just know the dark side, right? And so they can't find balance in their life. Things are constantly in a sense of chaos, right? And so they have to constantly use this dark energy to try to get more and more, but it's at this point of desperation. You can get the woman you want, but you can't keep her. You can get some money, but you can't keep her.
Now that you just saying that, right?
Yeah.
Got a quick story. The way I got into my dark side was through programming, through the media, through the movies growing up. All of the women wanted the guys who had dark traits. So me being a nice guy growing up, it would never happen. I couldn't do that because women always went for the guys who was off into the street. But as I got into my dark side, I feel like for a lot of my adulthood, I stayed in my dark side too long and I was using the energy the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's to the point where I had to pick up a book, which was the Kabbalion. That's what made me figure out, oh shit, I've been doing life all wrong. I gotta learn how to transmute this energy into something positive. I gotta turn this dirt into gold. You know, that's what changed my life and helped everything click for me.
Right.
But what was that pivoting point in your life where you finally figured out how to use that dark energy for something positive.
It's funny because I'm gonna do like a whole breakdown. I wasn't gonna do this at first, but I was at an event, and oftentimes, you know, people come to me with their struggles, problems, issues. Yeah. But I could tell what had happened is this young man, he was just talking to this woman, and he walked away from her frustrated. He was just like, man, I can't do this thing out here. These women just be faking. They just be showing up one way, and you can't get what you want and all of that. And then I looked at him, I said, it's not her fault. You're a nice guy. You're supposed to finish last. You let everybody else go first. You know what I'm saying? You've developed this personality around what you think are your good traits and your loving traits. And you are walking around thinking that's enough, right? And you mad because she like men who have traits that you don't have. And then you start cursing at them. Why does she like the bad? Why she like the gangster? Why she like this, that, and the third? Thanks. Because he has the traits you don't have, right? And you're looking at those traits as bad, so therefore you think you're good because you don't have them. So you put that as a moral superiority when you position yourself in front of people. I'm a good guy, he's a bad guy. And she like, really? He is?
But he's fun.
Right, but what he don't know is women are subconsciously attracted to that because what comes along with it. Now I'm about to answer your question directly, right? And I was saying that because I'm gonna teach this directly in my mentorship and have to do a whole framework. But even on the Save Yourself tour, we're gonna be talking about that because these are like small tweaks and shifts in a man's life that can change his whole trajectory and path. For me, it wasn't one moment all the way, but I'll tell you a real moment. It was one time, man, my older brother, man, he took this girl from me. Now, I ain't have her for long. I just met her that day. You know what I mean?
She was never yours.
She was never. But you know, as a nice guy,
still choosing.
As a nice guy, you feel like, you know what I mean? She gave you the number, she with you, she should never switch up on you. Fact. Right? So I'm young and I don't understand all of this, right? And I'm just saying specifically when it comes to women, I understand the power of darkness in a certain aspect, but it was that day to where I introduced her to him, and I believe that he was trying to teach me a lesson, right? And it was a lesson that I got the hard way, because he'd always say it and give a breakdown, but he'd never break it down like I'm gonna break it down to people, right? So I remember that day, she ended up choosing, and she went with him. And it was basically a day where everything that he was trying to teach me sunk in because it was an experience that I never had before, right? And of course, since then, I never had that again because I realized as I'm trying to understand, like, why does she want him? Why he doing this, that, and the third? And it was because of what came along with it. Like that night, it was a sequence of events. We went out, there's fights, he yelling at the security guard, he throwing up all his gang signs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He doing the most that night. You know how he get doing the most. And she attracted to that. And I'm trying to get brother chill out. So now I'm in the nice guy position. Like, come on, you doing too much. Now you done got me on defensive. You know what I mean? So anyway, that night ended, right? Of course, with him being with her. And that was a night that I told myself, you feel me, that I wouldn't allow this to happen again. And so I was able to activate that because I understood what was going on. I'm a reflective person, so anything bad happened to my life, I'm gonna sit down, deep reflect, and then unlock something. So it was one of the greatest lessons that I got because I believe my life changed that night to where I was able to see reality clearly.
After you like wiped your eyes, because I know you was crying.
I ain't cried, but I was heated. I might have been sweating, I was so hot. You know what I'm saying? Man. But it was one of the ones, you know, you see women for who they are. You see men for who they are, not who you want them to be. You see things for what they are.
See, your problem was that night you put an expectation on something that night.
Yeah, you know? I put a filter on them. Yeah. It was my own filter. Yeah. That's the thing about life. We project, right, our ideas of people onto them, and we see them based on our ideas. So if we good, then we project goodness onto others, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, they wouldn't do that. That's a good girl. She wouldn't do this. No, that's not reality. And that when you tap into that dark energy, you just seeing things for what they are, not what they want to be. See, the light side allow you to help water things, to help bring out that potential, that light to help expose the real. But when you tap into the darkness, you can see the darkness in everybody else. Thanks. And your goal is to be able to filter it through your righteousness and your consciousness so that it doesn't take a hold of you and control you, but you can wield it like a power.
Now speaking of it taking a hold of you and controlling you, all of my adult relationships with women, I got all my women because of my dark traits. So as the relationships went on, it got to a point where eventually they wanted to evolve and they wanted me to change.
Yeah.
However, I had the mindset, my ego kicked in. You accepted me being a drug dealer and all, you know what I'm saying? I'm running the street. I'm not stopping there. I'm getting to the money. Right? I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah.
What you talking about is my way or the highway.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, of course they was right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing all the wrong things with this dark trait. When I can fast forward now, I can take all of those dark moments and transmute it into being on this podcast, talking about these stories and trying to enlighten other brothers not to go down that route. You know what I'm saying? And just take heed, you know?
But yeah, you said the key word, transmutation. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's the tough part, is that you can go so far over, right? Because in a book of Bushido, it speaks upon how a man needs to know the art of war and the art of peace, right? And sometimes a man only knows the art of war. Right? It's like, that's why I said you got the 48 laws of power, which greatly deals in manipulation and deception, very Machiavellian-esque tactics. But then you have the law of balance, like, you know, the laws of Ma'at, right? So there's a difference between when a person has the laws of Ma'at and the laws of power. Now they can balance that out with values and virtues and ethics and codes. Right? That's why man has those things, so he doesn't veer off into too many things. And he can be on a straight path and he can be focused, because a warrior has to be able to tap into that to fight.
Before you proceed, right, you just said the key word. You gotta be focused.
Yeah.
Focus is the key word. A lot of men never get a chance to decipher or distinguish the two because they don't have no focus.
Yeah.
Everything in their life built around the chaos. Everything in motion. Then you got more problems coming, more problems. It make people remain so dark that they fall all the way down the scale. And then they start feeling like they stuck.
Right.
A lot of times, the only time a nigga can get focused is going to jail sometimes.
Well, see, that's when you didn't use your dark side, and in the jail, you start to find more of that light.
Yeah.
Because you start reading, you start learning, you start getting you some order, some focus, some discipline.
You're away from the noise.
Exactly. And you know, and then sometimes the opposite happens. People go all the way to the dark, depending on how grim their situation is, and they be like, I'm gonna end all shreds of humanity within me to survive.
Yeah.
And so what I'm talking about is an intentional act, right? When a person is knowing that they're using it. Because when you don't know, then it's using you. That's the shadow, right? And I think that's the difference. It's an integration within your dark side versus a repression. Because it's the same thing that happens. There's a sickness within the body when you suppress something. Because if you completely light, you suppressing all your dark, right? And it's coming out in a ways to where you like, I can't get this, I can't produce this, I can't manifest this. No, a man's supposed to be able to walk through the world, and his willpower is so strong that things move. I was in Boston. I'm talking to my brother A$AP Ferg. And he was, you know how people be talking about how I be walking. They talking about, man, you walk in the room,
hey, nah,
you own it. You know?
Oh, no. It's funny you said that one of my partners, he had just did 12 years in jail. He came home. We was in Atlanta, and I had him pull up on us at the club. So we coming out. They took so long to get there. We come out. You walk right past him. He was like, what's up? Then they called me, say, hey, bro, man, I appreciate you for having me pulling up, even though I came late. He said, but when I seen your brother, man, it looked like he was floating. He didn't even walk past me. He looked like he was floating. I said, he had some skates on his shoes. Shoes with the skates at the bottom.
You ain't never seen Darth Vader walk?
I don't watch stuff like that.
I know you haven't, man. You know what I'm talking about? But you gotta float. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never seen the ninjas don't walk. You know what I'm saying? They just... No, but real life, no. So, but that's what it is. And it's funny, it's something that I don't actively try, right? Because my aura is gigantic. You know what I mean? It's huge. So as I'm walking through the room, I understand how to shift the environment, right? Like a nice guy goes along to get along, right? I'm coming in to make a way, right? This is my path is here. Now I'm an element in the room. So it's like void. I look at like light takes up space, right? Yeah. But then void at the same time also takes up space. So you have to understand like those differences in the sense that when you move throughout the room, it's not always what you say, it's what you don't say, right? What shows a person a little that mysteriousness is darkness because you're not shedding light on everything. A person doesn't need to know the full extent of your capabilities. They don't need to know the full extent of your, your story and everything about you. You have to leave some things in the dark.
It's funny that you say that because I feel like I do that. I think I overdo that. I feel like at a lot of the events that we go to, sometimes I probably don't even want to be there, you know. But
Right, well, that's how that'd be something real too.
But nah, sometimes it's like I'm gonna come here for the support for the brand, it's the movement, but like, it might come off as passive aggressive to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? They probably think, man, I don't know what's up with him. We got something on his mind. You know?
That's why the balance comes in, because you don't want to overtalk.
Right.
When you overtalk, you explaining yourself, and what that does is it drops your status down, right? Because the general, the boss, the leader, right? That's not a person that ever needs to over-explain themselves because they're in a position of power, right? So when you tap into that darkness, you're tapping in from a position of power. Doesn't mean you can't clarify, but what it means is that you're intentional in everything that you do and say and how you move. You're not accidentally walking around. You coming in there with purpose on heart and mind, right? And as you move, the people can see that. And what it means also is there more depth than you ever letting off, right? So, you know, you once you tap into that, you become more authentic. And that's when you become smooth. You become witty and charismatic, right? Because you just being yourself. Nobody catch you off guard. I remember talking to this girl one time, man, and you know, I said, excuse me. You know what I'm talking about? Why you laughing, man? No, I said something that was smooth, right? It caught me off guard. You know, sometimes you so smooth, you catch yourself off guard. So I'm saying something, you know, heavenly to her, you know, about her presence and demeanor and how I want to get to know her and all of that. And she playing me quiet, you know what I'm talking about? She ain't doing too much, but I can tell she buying in, almost ready to check out. You know what I'm talking about? So
I see you going too far now.
Nah.
It wasn't smooth.
You gotta be smooth. This is my storytelling. This is storytelling. You gotta listen.
She buying in, ready to check.
Nah, you caught that though. You know that. Stop playing. That's smooth. You ready to check out though, man? You know what I'm talking about? Nah, this is my Oakland, California. Y'all pay attention. No, but anyway, man, I'm talking to her and she buying whatever I'm selling at the time, ready to make an investment. That better? Yeah, man. Assets over liabilities, right? So anyway, she ready to earn your leisure. Oh, let me stop playing. Let me stop, no, for real. So this is what I said to her. I was like, you know, I asked her what she do, things of that nature, and I told her, you know, I want to see. I asked her something about time, right? I wanted to know when she wasn't busy, and she said, I don't have time. And I told her, don't worry, because I'll give you some of mine.
You know what I'm saying? See, like,
hey, no, in the moment though, you gotta catch the players, right?
Nah.
In the moment, it was so smooth because I had to catch what I was saying because she ain't have it, so I gave her some of mine.
But just the thing with time. Time is temporary. That's why she ain't with you right now.
No. First of all, Cap.
It ain't worked out.
No. Number two, here's the thing. And this is what you gotta understand. It ain't about being serious when you tapped into that.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to make her laugh. See, that's what I learned. See, the problem with some of y'all people that be fake within their darkness, they be trying to fake it, so they be trying to be too cool. Niggas that be tapped into their darkness be corny. You know what I mean? They'll say something that's funny. They don't mind being seen, right, as corny or something like that. Why? Because you secure. As long as you make her laugh and you show a moment of vulnerability, she with you. Now you trying to be too cool, you can't say nothing and you overthinking, that's when it's not real. But a dead joke go hit harder than a real one. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm trying to tell you how to be yourself, youngster, when you talk to these women.
First of all, bro, I'm a real comedian. I'm trying to tell you. I'm kind of professional.
I'm trying to tell you, make it plain. Just make sure you laugh.
But I think I'm the funniest one on the team.
Nah, you know that's cap. You know we did this
I'm real life one of.
We voted on the last tour.
I'm in the top two.
Top two for sure.
For shit show.
I mean,
and I'm probably one.
And it's no. We know that there's only two of us that's funny out the four of us that's here.
Right.
Right? And that's no disrespect to the other two people that's listening. It's just you gotta be, that's what I mean by being nice. You don't have to be nice. You just tell the truth. You know what I mean? And what you say is how you say it and why you say it. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, now check this out, right? Let me segue into another topic by sticking to this.
We go thread this.
We can bring it
remember
back.
we was talking about how men don't know how to communicate to women.
And that's what I'm actually getting to. Speaking of communication, some men don't know how to communicate to women, or they don't know how to communicate towards each other, man to man. Basically, you know what I'm saying? So I seen a clip today of Steve Harvey, and he was basically explaining the lost art of communication when it comes to your peers or whatnot. He was saying, like, in the traditional sense, back in the day, if men had a disagreement, we can pick up the phone and call each other, especially if we know each other. And I got your direct contact instead of me going to the internet and spreading hate, bringing you down, when I can just uplift you and we can have a conversation, agree to disagree or whatever, behind the scenes. But this generation lost the art of communication because they want to go viral. I tell people all the time, this generation, if one thing this generation did create, it was clout. So I expect it from this generation. That's why you'll never catch me on the internet.
Well, yeah, because they got so many tools for clout.
Yeah.
And it's messed up because there's so many gifted, talented, amazing people. And instead of them appreciating what they have, what they've been blessed with, they want what somebody else has.
Yeah.
It could be somebody with clout with no money and living a terrible life. And you got all the money in the world, you got beautiful family, you got homes, you got all these different things. Yet you want to be received like that person, right? Instead of being grateful for what you have, which is more than 99% of the world, you're being ungrateful. And that ungratefulness is why you start hating on others. You resent that they have anything. They don't even have what you have. You're resenting that they have any measure of anything in society. Their very existence is throwing you off, right? So, of course, you can't communicate. When you're not communicating from a place of logic and rationale, you're communicating based on a feeling that you can't even truly interpret to get to the root of it. You don't know that root is built in jealousy and envy. Otherwise, if you was clear with yourself about that, then you would have to check yourself because it would go against your own code of who you think you are.
You know why I've never been a fan of, people who chase clout on the internet? Because it seems like, for me personally, I can say 95% of these people who do things like that, and they get all the attention and all the views, when you go on their page, none of them got a link you can click where they selling the product and nothing. So you done got all this attention from the whole world, and you ain't even transmute to nothing positive.
Nothing.
You ain't do nothing with it. So I've never been a fan of it.
Well, you got to think, we only got 24 hours out the day. So if you choose to use 6 of them hating, you can't be producing nothing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to sleep at least 6 hours if you're getting good sleep. I don't know how good haters sleep. Sometimes haters might sleep very good knowing that they bothered you for the day. They might be up all night conniving, like Pinky in the brain, trying to figure out how to get on your nerves. And if they get one moment, they probably rest like babies. But you gotta understand, it takes a lot of time to produce something to hate on. It takes no time to hate on something produced.
I like that. I like how you said it tonight. That was smooth. That's the smoothest thing you said tonight.
Stop it. Because I was talking about being smooth to women, not men. It's supposed to irritate you. Because you know that you can't keep up with the competition of what was said, so you got to downplay it just in case it was heard by the white people.
Listen, I only see my goals. I don't even see competition.
I hear you,
I'm going to tell you that
man,
out
I'm
the gate.
proud of you, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, I'm proud of you. I just want to let you know. Yes, sir. Keep going. Keep pushing. Make sure y'all get my brother book as well. You know what I'm talking about? You shouldn't be watching Man to Man if you ain't got my brother book. He wrote that during dark times.
Oh, yeah, facts, man. Speaking of the book, right, it was a segment in the book, right, where I had talked about getting shot, right? And this was during one of my dark times where I didn't take accountability for my dark traits that I had during that time, So, of course, I'm blaming, everybody that's around the situation, probably blaming the person that shot me the whole time. I put myself in them positions. You know what I'm saying? I've been shot 3 different times, so looking back as an adult and me analyzing every situation, I should have never been in that position anyway in life, you know what I'm saying? To even be surrounded by where I got people who want to assassinate me. You feel me? Only because I want to be, I'm thinking like me being a street nigga is masculine.
Right.
And keep staying in them dark traits is what's going to make me live in life. You know what I'm saying? Whole time it was subtracting from me.
Because, you know, that shadow frequency can cause confusion. You know, when you don't have clarity, when it comes from the wrong source in the wrong place, because the shadow is all about the unseen parts, right? Everybody has a shadow frequency. Sometimes it can allow you to tap into deep, dark gifts, right? That can make you great, but it needs to have clarity, which means you have to understand the why. See, that shadow can come from the devil when it comes from confusion, right? And you don't understand yourself. But when you have the why and you know yourself, then that's when you're moving through that shadows like God, right? That's completely different. Right. So it's interesting as we're talking about one thing, but it's like a gun, right? One person can use it for protection, and the other person can go use it to go offend somebody else, to attack somebody for no good reason whatsoever. One person can literally be protecting their family. So the shadow is based upon who wields it and for what, and your intentions behind what you wield and the reasons why you get it in the first place. But that's being able to go, it's like the book by Napoleon Hill about Interview with the Devil, and he talks about how the devil's job is to constantly keep you off your pivot, right? So in everything that he does, his whole entire job is so that you don't focus. Mm-hmm. In that focus, you pierce the darkness and you know yourself deeply. In a state of emotional, bondage that you stuck in is when you don't have no clarity upon your day, upon yourself. And it's not until you have the ability to free yourself, to take the time to rest, to deeply reflect, to think. Sometimes you don't have the answers, right? Because either it's going to take so much time based on the way you develop your mind to reflect and get to that moment that's aha, like I get it. Like all the wisdom that are in the great books can be learned through reflection over time. Yeah. Now the time it takes for you to reflect and somebody else to get to culminate to that wisdom is different. The more experience you have, the better foundation you have to learn off those experiences, reflect, and come to points of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Yeah. So without that, then you have to go through journeys of like reading, right? Fact. You have to go through expressive therapies, nature therapies. Like there's a lot of people believe in talk therapy. Expressing self is one thing, but going inside the inner verse within yourself, there is no limit to within. Yeah. Right? And the inner verse is infinite. That means that you can be traveling and finding parts of yourself for years and years and years to come infinitely, right? But it starts, Steve, with an emotional shift when we're talking about the metaphysical reality. The problem is that people are trying to change metaphysical problems with physical results. Mm-hmm. So you then go get a physical, tangible thing. You get a book. You get a physical person in your life, physical relationships in your life, right? You eat food, which is a physical substance, and you think that that's going to solve a metaphysical problem. Because the universe, to expand that field of consciousness, your universal field of consciousness to where you have power and flow, has to be an emotional shift. And on that plane is where you live differently. Because you got to think of it like this. Envy produces an envious reality that gets you results that only come from envy, right? Confusion, that chaotic emotional plane can only produce more confusion, right? But when you are at a state of peace, calmness, rest, courage, those all produce different realities. And I'm talking about when those are the dominant frequencies that you master. The problem is one day we're courageous, the next day we're fearful, right? One day you're grateful, and the next day you're hateful. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, your reality and your plane cannot develop stability so that you can have growth. So the more you can be stable and create that emotional shift, guess what? Before you learn anything, picked up a book, the emotional plane, right, is where you can automatically have changes in your business, in your relationships, in your health, in your wealth. You start to see all of a sudden, man, I thought I was at a plateau. Man, I got more customers coming in. Man, more sales is happening. Man, somebody just called me with good news. What did you change about your life? Zero, except, and you went into the metaphysical plane. You went inside yourself and you change an emotional habit, which produces a different result from reality. Now this is real talk. Like, you know, like when I do the mentorship, we talk about growth, we talk about mastering communication, mastering the brand. But all of those things that I can teach you from my frameworks, if I don't teach you the metaphysical side, nothing will stick.
That's true. That's 100% true, because a lot of people don't know that opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree.
Mm-hmm.
Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Which means, like, if you look at a thermometer, right, it say hot and cold. But temperature don't change. I mean, it only changes once it go up. It can either get hotter or it can get colder.
That's a fact.
But it's the same thing.
Yes.
So opposites are different in nature, but different in degree. Hot and cold, good and bad, up and down. It's the same thing. You just got to why I want to be on this scale.
Right.
Do I want to be on this bad side, on the cold side, or do I want to chill on the other end? So it's all about shifting your consciousness toward the end where you aspire. And then that inspire you the most.
When you take that save yourself and you operate within that law, what you do is you learn how to control and master yourself, because to save yourself is to save the world, right? So the most change you can ever create in a world is the change that you create within. That's the most change you can create. Nothing changed in my world until I changed it within. Then everything I changed within expressed on the outside, right? Everything that I changed on the outside, it became a result from somebody else. Oh, because I've changed aspects of myself, now I was able to change and have an effect on you in that aspect of yourself. Now, any result that comes from that is directly rooted in how I changed myself. So we can't find a man that did not change something within himself, but that was able to change the world. What you love about Malcolm X is he saved himself. Yeah. He took the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and he saved himself, so therefore he was able to save the world. I don't care who you go to and what great man or what great woman, they followed the same protocol. And once you learn how to do that, you tap in. That's why I named the tour the Save Yourself Tour. Because when you save yourself, you save the world. But there are different dimensions and planes that we have to go through, because the physical result, the financial result, right, is a result of energy flowing based on the method of being able to produce cause and effect based on what you attract and what you produce. Right? So for me, teaching one is first about what you learn yourself, right? The more you learn, the more you can teach. It's cause and effect. But we always think about the effect. I want to be a teacher. I want to be. No, what are you going to develop within yourself that automatically produces the result? Matter of fact, you don't have to think about the result because it's automatic. So you don't have to ever say, I'm chasing money. No. Produce the value of the results, and the money is just an effect. That's it. And if the bigger the cause, the bigger the effect, right? So when you see people that start to have a compound effect, it's because they're compounding, right, the cause that made it effect. So this is I like to keep things simple, right? If I want to go above people's head, I'll start talking about things you don't know. But if you look at wise men, they'll give you a knowledge that you're supposed to sit with. And during that sitting, and you let it rest within you, you have to let it rest, because that's when it becomes you, right? Only in rest do we heal. Only in rest do we grow. When your body is not in a state of rest, you're in sickness, and you can't produce from a sick place.
Talk to him, you hear me?
Come on, man.
Now I know, speaking of saving the world, right? I know the election's next week, but...
And speaking of dark masculinity, she don't want to be saved.
Check
Save yourself.
So don't save her. Save yourself, you hear me? Oh yeah, make sure y'all, tap into the Save Yourself Tour at 19keys.com/tour. Get your tickets now, because they going extremely fast.
Right.
I'm going to tell you now, if you want to have that royalty seat, man, go on, hit the link. It's going to be in the bio or whatever they call it on YouTube, the description.
Yeah, just go directly to the link. Make sure you get something for your family and friends. Come there as a family affair.
But yeah, check this out, right? Saving the world. Instead of me talking about Kamala and Trump this time, right? It's something else I've seen on the ballot that I think people should pay attention to. In California specifically, they got the Proposition 6, which is all about it's trying to eliminate involuntary servitude from prisoners in these, companies such as, I want to say Walmart and fast food restaurants. See, what they doing is they making prisoners work at these spots to keep them going and keep them in business, and they not paying them at all. And if they don't go to work, they got to go to the hole, or they get privileges took from them. They don't even get sent when they eligible for parole. They get denied and all of that. But they gonna overwork these people without paying them. So what California trying to do? They trying to stop the whole thing. And I feel like people need to get up and go and vote for that, especially our skin color, black folks.
100%.
Because a lot of us in jail.
If when we talk about the power of voting, right? If we're going to use it, it has to be organized, right? So this is why we can't always demonstrate power. It's because we don't organize influence and we don't become an organizing force. I've said this for the last 5 years that organizations only fear organization, right? So if we're talking about the ballot box and we look at things and we find that resonate with us and we say, look, this is what I want to organize around, Prop 6, to where you're, and especially when you got brothers, sisters, uncles, future generations that may be affected by this, this 6 or this particular proposition and ballots like this shows us, okay, these things produce results. Right. And those results have real change, right? So Prop 6, if you in California and you want to get them to stop profiting off the black body, let me tell you, October 16, 1995, right? We just had the anniversary of the Million Man March. The first thing he started off with is the secret of the number 19, right? And he started talking about how we are at the Jefferson Memorial and there's 19 feet high, right, memorial statues of the 16th and the 3rd president, which represents the 19. And he was revealing what he called the secrets, right, of the Masonic order. And what are those secrets? The secrets is the black body. Specifically, right, when the black body was being traded on those steps. Today, that same practice is happening, right? It's, you know, we call it 6, right? 6 is about flesh, right? We're talking about the body. So these things get very metaphysical when you're talking about utilizing one's pledge to go produce freedom for the body of the black body in America. People will talk about that they care about the black man and the black man should care about them. But when it comes to things that affect the black man the most, nobody cares. So as we talking about the trade of black bodies in America, which they've utilized for commerce, and they've built industry, and they built their society off managing our energy, right? Profitizing off our pain. These are one of those things that I believe in. Right. So if you're in California, I don't care who president you vote for that Prop 6 and anything that you actually believe in. We have to start talking about propositions, right? And then therefore you'll get me more excited about the political process when it's about the abolition, right? And the radical tradition of freeing and liberating our people.
Facts, man. You know, laws like Proposition 6, they aim to fix, you know what I'm saying, systemic injustices or whatnot, but that ain't happening internationally everywhere. I just seen that the rapper Wiz Khalifa is facing 2 years in prison for smoking weed at one of his concerts on stage in Romania, where weed is illegal, unfortunately, even though it's legal out here in Cali.
Man, he
but I feel like that's extreme. But like I said, I feel like he should have learned from Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
You can't be going in these other countries.
You got to look at
it. The law.
And this is one of the things, right? Because as we talk about, even as I was putting together the Save Yourself Blueprint, we start talking about global citizenship and having a better movement towards global citizenship than we've had in the past. Number one, we have to have global awareness, right? So I hate that happened to our brother, but it's something when you go in those countries, you have to learn how to move as a global citizen. Every country is different, right? I can go to Dubai and I smoke a blunt down the street, and then if I get arrested, I may tell y'all to protest and get me out, but that means I also did it intentionally, which now I'm calling for your energy to come help me because of what I've done intentionally, because I thought I had a privilege that didn't exist, right? So when you go to places like that, we have to be smart about how we move collectively in our code of conduct as well, because otherwise they start seeing black men as weak, saying y'all can't never, right, take responsibility for the things that we produce. And that's not true, right? So I don't want to see our brother get punished, and I hope that he can utilize his wealth and his resources to get himself out of it. But I also don't believe that we should walk around unaware, right, and not utilizing our power in the sense of knowing how to move as we go throughout this planet. Like I've been through, I don't know how many countries at this point. I've never got in any trouble. I always look at the laws of the land. I was telling you the other day, I was about to smack that British man for playing with me in Japan. But I don't know they laws. I don't know if I would have went full Samurai Jack on them, you know what I mean, they would have locked me up. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that one get a pass, and I'm gonna still give you a breakdown of how you a devil, and if you come my way, of course, I'm gonna give you the full Jackie Chan treatment.
Shit that
No. Only thing I was scared of is missing my plane if I had to explain this. You know what I mean? And I have to use the chat GPT to explain the Japanese.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a nice guy overseas. I'll tell you that now. I'm a nice guy. You got it, boss. I ain't about going no jail in the country.
Nah, I'm not doing
I can't speak.
I'm not doing all that.
I can't even speak English. I mean, y'all don't speak English. How am I use the phone in jail? Don't nobody here speak English. They don't know what I'm saying.
You got it, boss.
You got it.
I ain't talking to nobody like that.
Yeah, you can have it.
We still gonna always move accordingly, right? All you gotta do is move militantly. If you want to know the secret, move militant. That's how I was taught.
This the real secret.
Hold on. You follow your general orders, and if you don't have any, right, then you need to learn some, and those are basically your code of conduct on how you're supposed to behave in every situation, right? Because now you learn how to move as a soldier and how to move militant. In the Army, they have general orders. In the FOI, there are general orders, right? And when you learn and you have a code for every situation, then you don't get out of pocket. You know how to move.
This one of my secrets. I don't walk in no room smiling. I don't, like, you know, when you walk in the room, you ain't gonna catch me just instantly smiling. You might have to have a conversation first for you to get a smile out of it. Because just let people know we come in serious intentionally. Whatever we had on the agenda to get done today, that's what we doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Part of that is like when something requires seriousness, be serious.
Yeah.
And that means act in a very serious way. When you're doing serious business, be serious. Too much joking is no good.
Yeah.
Right? Too much goofing around, playing and joking. You have to understand that because yes, the energy you put out there is the energy that you receive back. Right? So as a man, you have to know how to move accordingly so that you can produce the exact reality, right, in which you expand from yourself. A lot of times you be mad a person treats you a certain way. Well, how did you act? Yeah. Right? The other day I had to call somebody. I seen them say something about something on the internet, right? And me, I'm conflict resolution through and through, meaning that I will call you directly. I will give you my number. When I see something, I will attempt to reach out because I've never seen it, unless it's a man that doesn't know himself and he's feminine and he has this intention to try to destroy me, right? Which then that lets me know who my enemy is anyway. But if I can't call you and we can't resolve a problem, then I know we got a real one. Yeah. Because only time when you need to go to war is when you've exhausted all intellect to solve that problem intelligently. Yeah. So men should be able to communicate with each other, not emotionally, to come to a resolve, right? And I'm talking about two men having a conversation and speaking and laying out their points. And I'm laying out my points with clarity so they can't be misunderstood. Then it forces both of us to have an understanding. And from that understanding, how can we go to war?
Now, that's kind of tricky, right? Because it's like, a lot of times, right, I done been in situations where I'm the super intellect in it, right? Like this back during the time I'm in the street, I'm gonna give you a nice example. I got the intellect, right? Which means out the gate, I'm automatically gonna outthink you. But some people don't have the emotional intelligence level that I got at the time. So now, even though I want to handle this situation intellectually, you know what I'm saying, a conversation could have, you know what I'm saying, avoided the war, I know all they know is war. All they know is war, which means that's what I now mean. I gotta...
That's what I mean. That's not a high-level masculine entity you're dealing with.
Exactly.
I'm talking about somebody you can, because you know that if you can't, like I'm not forcing it, you know what I'm saying? If I give you my number or if I call you and you don't want to handle it like that, that's also communication. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if we actually get on the phone and we're able to come to a resolve, it don't mean we buddy or nothing. It means that we have terms of engagement now, right? And we come to an agreement. If that agreement is continued to be met, then we good. If that agreement is not met, then what happens when countries break treaties, right? Then there's a clause in there to say, okay, now we got to resolve it in a matter of where we go to war. Yeah. That's how wars start. That's how wars begin. But you have to look at the way countries solve and resolve things is so that we don't end up in a World War III and there's a nuclear explosion and then there's a lose-lose for everybody. Because that's often what things end up as, a lose-lose for everybody.
Now, speaking of wars, right, I seen a new law in Texas where they banned in business any business that boycotts Israel, they gets no funding. They get no funding. Like they automatically, if you got anything on your page or dealing with your brand and it's boycotting Israel, you ain't getting the funding. What you think about that?
I think that's America. There's no longer America first. America had sold everything about America. America is in $100 trillion debt. When we talk about America has been sold off of all its spare parts, and it is a bankrupt country trying to emulate what it once was. America is a ghost, right? When you have things like that, that's like going to China, and they saying if you say something about America, we'll close your business down. They would never do that.
Right.
There should never be a foreign country in which you cannot speak on as a citizen of this country, right? And otherwise, then they won't give you. That's a very foreign thing. So we already know what that is. We already know how America has been infiltrated and conquered. I was in Boston the other day, and I'm walking around. You know, I went to the site of the Boston Massacre, right, where the first victims were killed, and they had to spark the Revolutionary War. And I went to the courthouse, and I was able to walk around, and around this courthouse, they got quotes from the founding fathers, like great people from America. And I'm looking at all these quotes, and number one, I'm like, these are very hypocritical because they all was written like before, like in the 1700s or before 1865. So I'm looking at these quotes, all men should be equal and all this justice crap. And I'm like, but we were slaves. All of this stuff is cap. Then I get to one quote without looking at the author of the quote. And I'm like, wait a minute, this one hit. And I looked down and it was, hold on, I'm gonna read the quote to you. I'm gonna read the quote to you. We're gonna read the quote. People hit me today about some stuff. Okay, it says, first of all, it was some really good quotes. I really took a lot of pictures of it. It says, where justice is denied and any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. Man, that resonated with my spirit. Frederick Douglass. I said, of course. I said, who said this? I looked at it, it's my boy Frederick.
It's Freddie.
I said, okay, that makes sense. He was cooking back then. And this was 1886. He was cooking. He said, let me run that back. He said, where justice is denied and any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. Now, don't we feel like society is an organized conspiracy to rob, oppress, and degrade us?
Facts.
Well then, as he said, neither persons nor property will be safe. Now look at some of these other quotes though. Because they have some quotes now, don't get me wrong. But they say men and women were created equal. They are both moral and accountable beings. And whatever is right for man to do is right for women. Now, of course, women had no rights during this, and this is by Sarah M. Grimp. All men are born free and equal, and every subject is entitled to liberty and to have it guarded by laws. William Cushing, 1783,
hello.
100 years
now,
before we got
now that you're hitting the quotes, right, I got a quote for the people, right? And we can etch your name into history with this quote that I'm about to say. So speaking of Boston, before you went to Boston, I remember showing you this video while we were sitting in the Uber. And it was Kodak Black new song. So we watched the video, the song, we bobbing our head, and we finished the song. You say, man, see, he's a talented brother. He's the DMX of this generation. That was the quote. Kodak Black is the DMX of this generation. A couple days later, you went to Boston, and you end up running into Kodak Black. I want you to tell the people, you called my phone and that day, you was like, man, I actually told him that he the DMX. I'm laughing like, man, why you tell him that? You hear me? But break that down, what you mean when you say he's the DMX of this generation. And also, I want to know, like, What was the game that he gave you and vice versa?
When I met Nas for the first time, he had a message for me. And I can tell he had a message because it felt like it just flowed as soon as he met me. It was a quick, almost in passing, we shaking hands, he stopped, pulled me in, and he delivers his message. Right? Something about we all have different roles and the way that they play out is differently, but everybody plays their role. But I can tell the way that he said it, it was that if he was holding on to it and was like, when I see him, I want to deliver this message. And those type of messages that God give you for another person.
Yeah, I remember that message.
And when I seen Kodak Black, he was on stage. And this is real, like this is a real moment, right? It was hard for me to enjoy my brother being up there and he playing them hits, you know, stuff that I like. But it was hard because, just to be quite frankly, he was high and I felt like he wasn't being, it's like when we see our brother like DMX and all the times that he gave us his greatest hits, he was high. So like we enjoying this, but not knowing that eventually it's time to lead to a person downfall and you don't know when it's their last performance.
Yeah.
So it felt eerie that I'm here enjoying something or would be enjoying something, right? But this person is going through something. And oftentimes that's how it is with entertainers. Nobody is saying nothing. Nobody is pulling them to the side. Everybody is just enjoying their downfall to a degree. So I started to develop a message that I wanted to say to him, right? And it's funny because we had been listening to him and that message came to mind because as I'm listening to him, I always thought the bro was brilliant, right? That he got knowledge, he got some wisdom and understanding. I can listen through it to his music. When he talked sometimes, he talked about how he read Supreme Understanding books. I know he'd be tapped in. It takes a high degree of intelligence even to communicate the way that he does and to simplify it in the way that he does. So I listen to something different when I hear him. And the spirit that he has reminds me because the darkness that DMX built his career off of was extremely dark.
Yeah.
But from that pain that he transmuted into expressing himself, we was able to deeply enjoy it.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't know he smoked crack at first.
Right.
They didn't know about the times that he was beat right by his mama constantly over and over. They didn't know that blunt was laced that time that he got high. We didn't know all of that. We didn't know he may have been performing and it was time that he was high out of his mind.
Yeah.
Right? And then eventually we lose him to that. And he was also somebody that say what's on his mind. You know, that extremely talented and he's real and he's authentic.
Super passionate. Super
passionate.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a level of authenticity from somebody like that that's completely unafraid of the world to be themselves, but they still holding on to so much darkness within themselves. So when I seen that, I'm like, nah, Kodak is like the DMX of our generation. He got that voice that's different, that talent that's different, right? Nobody can really compare with it, you know, but he's going through so many demons and darkness and you can just tell, right? He goes through withdrawal and he goes through so many different situations, in and out of jail, getting shot, shootouts, having beefs, feuds, greatly misunderstood, trying to get back aligned and things of that nature. And so when I seen him, we locked eyes when I first walked in and he had seen me and then he stopped because he was about to go a different direction and he doubled back, right? And I'm introducing myself. He's like, come on, man, I know you, man. He was like, man, I seen you. As soon as I locked eyes, I seen you, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, it's crazy because me and my brother, we were just watching you. You know what I mean? He said we be tuned in, we be watching all that, right? And he going through his phone, trying to get the number, and he calling, right? Trying to get the bro online to like confirm and validate so he know that he ain't capping. But I'm like, man, and then I delivered my message, which I ain't gonna tell the whole world, but I did tell him that, you know, he our generation DMX and we need him here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I told him that I got him, you feel me, whenever he needs so, and you know, we tapped in and inshallah we'll be able to lock in later. And you know, not even if I don't have him on the show, I wanna be able to help be a guide and a light because sometimes you help somebody like that with some guidance, and that's if Allah allows me the right way and ability to guide, you can help so many more from the effect that they have on them. Right? So you can help guide one person and you end up guiding another million. Right? So that's why it's important when you got messengers like that who got the eyes of the people, who got the minds of the people, and so many young people. Listen, that when you make your transition, you affect millions of people. Millions of people. So, you know, I've always said that it's my effect to help lead the leaders, right? Because we need people, right? We often need the most help, but people forget that you're human. So when I talk to people, I try to talk to the human side in you, not the star in you. I need to talk to the brother in you, the man in you, the boy in you, all of that, because those are the parts that we wrap everything else around and try to protect ourselves from. And we never get the opportunity to truly deal with those aspects of ourselves. So they become shadows looming over us, constantly causing us to go astray and produce these flaws and be misaligned. But when we finally get that opportunity, right, to heal those aspects of ourselves or align those aspects, now we can really be the power that the world needs to see, the light. Now we take control of ourselves. It don't mean you about to just switch over overnight. That ain't it. But you start developing the tools and you become conscious of it.
You gotta deal with it.
Yeah, you got to.
Ain't no running from it.
Because it's only one direction that goes.
Thanks.
We know that direction. So we got to do more as far as intervention. And I'm deep on this concept when we talk about saving ourselves. It's a collective responsibility. Yes, I may tell you to save yourself because I know that if you save yourself, you save the world. So that part of doing that job and shifting yourself helps shift the world. That's the collective responsibility. You see me building, help me build.
Thanks.
You feel me? Because if I do it by myself, then I develop this mentality. And this mentality becomes a mentality, I did it by myself, nigga, you do it too.
Thanks.
And now nobody helps each other. And now it's only one out of a million instead of there's many, right? Because we like, nah, each one teach one, each one, right, reach one. You feel me? Like you help me, I'm gonna help another.
And just by you saying that, I wanna shout out our team. Shout out to Metchy, man. Shout out Solomon. You know, shout out Lunan and shout out everybody from Blue Pill, everybody who played their position.
Andrea,
Kalima,
the twins.
It's a few of us. It's too many of y'all, you know. But shout out to everybody for playing their position because we move as a collective. Everybody really got their own job.
Let me not say the twins. Rahman and Rahim.
Yeah, they grown now. You know what I'm saying? Gotta let them know. But I'm saying all that to say is everybody got their position where they supposed to do, right? But most of the time, everybody take initiative and overlap in the other positions where, you know what I'm saying, where, like, I know you out of town, and some shit, all right, well, fuck it, man, Solomon got to handle the social media right now and do all of this. Got to go get you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody step up and take the initiative. And it ain't about the money over here. That's what I respect our team, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody just working for the check.
Speaking of being out of town, I had some vibes this weekend.
Yeah, I did too.
Speaking of being in Boston, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not gonna ask you on camera, brother.
I mean, you can. It ain't what you thinking though, but
that's funny. No, but it was good to go out there to meet with the brothers. You know, I met Metro Boomin and Jason Tatum, and they both from the town.
Shout out to St. Louis.
From St. Louis. And people was telling me this time if I put St. Louis on the tour list, don't take it off, and that's of course.
Yeah, I'm tired of y'all hitting me about that actually.
Yeah,
but I told them they gotta support, bro.
I want to do an event because when we doing in St. Louis, man, yes, you gotta support, but I want people that's really from the city to be involved. Like you got Jason Tatum, you got Metro Boomin, you got Cedric the Entertainer. You know what I'm saying? You got my brother Yaki. You got me. You got
me.
No, what's my other brother? You know, come on. We were just at his tour. He came out here on tour.
AJ McQueen.
AJ McQueen.
Yeah, I'm tripping, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's important. Sexy Red. Have Sexy Red there.
I'll call you to pull up.
I think, and that's not something that's like even just my tour idea, but it's more so just helping the city heal. Because we can come together for a basketball game, we can come together for a concert, we can come together for all these things, but this is one of them places that, you know, I grew up in, but I also seen so many people fall. And I feel like I have a responsibility, right? I'm already being a light for my city, Oakland and St. Louis. But it's different when you go touch the ground and touch the people, right? I've done that in Oakland multiple times. I was just out there earlier for the mental illness conversation with Mr. Fab, which is a free community event. And I went there to go talk to the brothers. but I want to do more of that. And you know, a lot of the things that we do, we don't get sponsors and outside money and things of that nature. At least we didn't at first. Now we do. And while I'm saying we do is because I'm positioning that in the universe, that if you have a business, if you have an entity that want to see us do some things and help us run those campaigns, because I want to be able to reach my city a little more. Because you never know what that visit to do, what that event to do, what those initiatives will do, how many lives they can change. Because we got stories of coming from the streets. We got stories of being in those neighborhoods and from those neighborhoods and surviving them to a large degree. And that repeated cycle, there's somebody else going through that same exact thing that we went through, right? Dealing with the same type of beefs, same type of issues, same type of losses, same type of trauma. And if we can get to the city, right? And I know when I do go, I'm definitely gonna speak at my old high school, Roosevelt. I would love to even come speak at Gateway as well, you know, because when I was going through there, I didn't have nobody that was like me, not even nobody close that's like me, that I would have listened to and been like, man, bro, Raw, he really came from this, and I can too. That's powerful. I want to be like that.
It's funny, right, that you even saying that, right? I just got a DM from T Streets. Now, I'm telling a quick story before we end it. The guys in my neighborhood, you can read it out loud. Actually, a couple of guys in my neighborhood used to be in tour with him, but they wouldn't do nothing to him if I was around, you know what I'm saying? Because I was cool with him.
Read it?
Yeah, you can read it, it don't matter, you know, but it's just...
Man, I'm proud of you and your accomplishments. Bro, it seemed like just yesterday you was 3 feet tall and now you grown. It's crazy that you from the South. You were so soft, and now you seem like you got it together and you be talking about masculinity and shit. But it's one thing about you people don't know, right? You was once a sucker, but now you're not. And I want the world to know that I love you, bro. Keep going. And when I see you, I'm gonna drive your little ass. Oh, bro, that's crazy.
Hey, bro, you's a funny guy though, bro. I like how you flip it.
You want me to read it, right? You wanted me to read it.
Hey, this is a man episode. I don't even want to read y'all the message now because that was so funny. You hear me? Make sure y'all tap in to the next episode of the Man to Man. But in the meantime, please go to 19keys.com/tour. Get your tickets to the Save Yourself tour, man. We pulling up to a city near you soon. We might have the Man to Man.
Oh, wait.
Some locations you never know.
I ain't tell them nothing about Boston, man. I can't just post it on the internet and then not tell them no stories.
Listen, we can do something new. We can get them a bonus episode tomorrow.
We can, but it ain't.
It's gonna hit.
We can do another topic. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that I was at the game. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they said it on ESPN.
That was me on ES. That wasn't a clone. I just want to let the people know. Shout out to my brother Jalen Brown for getting his ring. It's a very solid individual. I rock with bro because he has a deep level of integrity and pride and cultural pride more than ever, making sure that he gives back to his community, right, and to the people, and overall utilizing his wealth in a way that what we always wanted to see celebrities do. He takes it as part of his responsibility to make that change. He told Nike that if I got a sign, right, in 2028 to Nike, that I'd rather not play U.S. basketball. You know how powerful of a statement that is for one to make, right? He don't mind going against the odds, but it was beautiful to go to that city and see them chant MVP, and he had to fight hard for that because he wasn't always getting love. You know what I mean? So I love when people go through the fire. They prove themselves, and after that, they get the respect. You feel me? So it was powerful to see that. You know, not only did he throw a party, he had like technology there to where you can use sound frequencies, and they had to implement it with like CBD and like it was interesting. I wish I would have took one with me. I didn't steal one. Jalen, I need one of those hat beats. I seen the shoes. The shoes is fire. He gonna keep winning with those shoes on. When they come out, I want everybody to get them because these things are more than one person. They represent a shift, and they represent a shift in the paradigm, right? So I look forward to doing a high-level conversation with him, my brother ASAP Ferg. Shout out to both of them. It was their birthdays. You know what I mean? Very solid individual. We're gonna do something in Harlem soon. So y'all be on the lookout for that. My brother Set Free was there. We definitely gonna be doing something when we get out to Brooklyn, 11/22. So make sure you get your tickets. If you are in Brooklyn or you wanna fly to Brooklyn, this one's gonna be crazy at the Paramount Theater. What else? Of course, shout out to, KG.
Desi Banks.
Desi Banks.
Desi Banks is out there, yeah.
We supposed to have Desi Banks. He's so funny, man. I seen him with the white forces on. He ain't had the black forces when I seen him. I told him to give you a shout out and everything. You know what I'm saying? But dude, funny as hell. When I first seen him, he was telling me how he got this show with Martin. I'm like, bro, you ain't got to stun on me. but then I kept bringing it up. It became like a theme for the night. Because last time we seen each other, we was cleaning up trash in 2020 for the communities in Atlanta. And I'm like, man, we cleaned up nice. You know what I'm talking about? I seen him 4 years later. And what?
Man, you wasn't just volunteering to clean up y'all tried to shoot that content in them dudes' neighborhood, and they made y'all clean up. Now, tell the true story.
That was almost funny.
Tell the truth.
I give you like a 3.5 for that. No. It was a good attempt. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good attempt.
Come on, man.
No, it was good. It was good.
It
was almost good. But it was a good night, man. It's good to be able to connect and link with all these brothers from different sides, because when I meet people, they have questions for me. And they tell me, bro, you helping me become a better father, a better son, a better brother, a better husband, a better man, a better leader. Because a lot of times people be close to the edge, sometimes losing their integrity. And when they see somebody that's standing on business, it makes them stand up as well. And that's what I mean by I say save yourself, right? Because when you save yourself, you save the world. You never know. So you have to be an example of the things that you want to see in the world, and it don't represent the perfect. It means that you're perfecting. And when we're perfecting, we're crafting ourselves, and we're getting better one day at a time. And 1% every day is 365% change.
Message. Not just playing, but man, it was a good episode, man. Nice talking to you all the time, man. Like I said, 19keys.com/tour. Get your tickets now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace, family.
Peace.